Topping today's news, the National Security Minister weighs in on the UK assisting with investigations into Michael Johnson's corruption matter. The Grand Bahama Port Authority says IRCA does not have authority in the port area. The missing American pilot and airplane found near Abaco, and Devon Charlton into the finals of the women's hurdles on Saturday at the Paris Olympic Games. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your JCN Evening News, and it's definitely a pleasure to have you join us. Minister of National Security Wayne Munro is weighing in on the planned foreign oversight into the corruption investigation into former CID chief Michael Johnson. The controversial case hit in early July when voice notes alluding to a bribery scheme involving Johnson, two alleged criminals, and a lawyer surfaced in relation to the November 2023 $1.5 million armor truck heist at Odyssey Airport. This week, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernanda released a statement announcing that senior officials from the United Kingdom and the United States will arrive in town next week to assist with the investigation. On Thursday, National Security Minister Wayne Munro spoke to reporters expressing his thoughts on this partnership.
The purpose of having foreign, as they say, oversight is just for assurance of the Bahamian public, of everyone, that this isn't something that hasn't had a second eye turned to it.
Michael Johnson McKeon, head of the National Crime Agency Anti-Corruption Unit, and Andrew John Black, a senior investigator, will oversee elements of the investigation to ensure fairness and balance. Mr. Monroe says that he expects the officials to review what has been done by local investigators and give their suggestions. The officials are scheduled to arrive in New Providence on the 14th of August and leave on the 17th. At present, Mr. Johnson remains on garden leave with pay. The Grand Bahama Port Authority says it has not yet approved the 6.3% base increase of its electricity rate as requested by the Grand Bahama Power Company. In a press release on Thursday, the Grand Bahama Port Authority said it will conduct a comprehensive review and engage with stakeholders during a 45-day consultation period before a final decision is made on December 1st. It says details of the application will be made public on or before September 15th. With regard to the power given to IRCA under the Electricity Act 2024, which says IRCA is the sole entity to approve rate increases in the entire Bahamas, the Grand Bahama Port Authority says that it is inconsistent and conflicts with the rights and privileges vested in the Grand Bahama Port Authority under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. It's very likely that the government and IRCA will have a reply to this position taken by the Grand Bahama Port Authority. 4 days after the search by Bahamians and U.S. officials began for missing American pilot Chris Moore, 59, and his single-engine two-seater aircraft earlier this week, it has come to an end, but the news is not good. On Thursday afternoon, police reported that continued efforts by police and community members ended around noon on Thursday when they received reports of a potential sighting of an aircraft wreckage located approximately 5 miles from the Marsh Harbor Airport. Officers and community volunteers made their way to the location and discovered the wreckage and found the lifeless body of Mr. Moore, who was the lone occupant of the aircraft. His body was transported to the local morgue, where a post-mortem will be conducted to determine the exact cause of death. Reports are that Mr. Moore, a native of Louisville, Kentucky, who was flying from Florida, owned a home in the Abacos. Personnel from the Civil Aviation Authority Bahamas, along with their international counterparts, will conduct further investigations into the circumstances surrounding this aircraft crash. The Bahamas has successfully completed the most recent International Aviation Safety Assessment audit by the Federal Aviation Administration, or the FAA. This from Aviation Minister Chester Cooper. The audit conducted in October of 2023 was a critical assessment of the Civil Aviation Authority Bahamas, examining the country's compliance with the international safety standards set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. In his statement, Minister Cooper said the recent passing of the Civil Aviation Amendment Act 2024 and the Civil Aviation Authority Amendment Act 2024 resolved the outstanding issues identified in the 2023 report. Just this week, the Bahamas played host to the Airports Conference of Americas, with 25 countries in the Bahamas coming to the Bahamas to work on improving civil aviation. Meanwhile, the Bahamas has committed to being a regional leader in aviation and air transport services. And finally, in this segment, traffic fatalities are up in 2024, with death tolls ahead of those from the same time last year by more than 2 months. Just Monday, 2 tragic accidents were recorded as a 25-year-old man fell from the back of a truck in central Eleuthera. He suffered severe head injuries. He was pronounced dead on the scene. And on Cat Island, a vehicle hit 2 male pedestrians, resulting in 1 death. And there have been several traffic fatalities involving motorcyclists not wearing helmets and using their motorcycles in a reckless manner, like popping, which takes away any control to stop or steer the motorcycle. Chief Superintendent Eugene Strawn from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division also attributes the increase in traffic fatalities to motorists not adhering to the speed limit and driving while using your cell phones. Minister of Transport and Energy Jobeth Kobe Davis has urged motorists to prioritize safety. In 2023, there were 51 total traffic fatalities, down from 59 in 2022. So far this year, we are already up to 40 traffic fatalities, and last year, October, there were only 43 fatalities. So this year, we are about 2 months ahead of last year's pace. You're listening to JCN News. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.